this is just a practice painting, nothing too serious. I'm working on a larger painting, and partway through the painting I realized I don't remember how to paint an acrylic rose. Done it in watercolor, but I haven't done it in acrylic, so I wanted to try it out before I started painting the dozen or so roses that are in the larger painting. So for this one, I'm using an old canvas that I painted over, and I usually like to start with blues on my canvas when I start just a painting, no matter what it is, but I decided this blue was too dark, so I created a lighter blue. And then here I just have my liner brush and I'm sketching out the rose. I have a reference for it, although I didn't follow it exactly, which I kind of regret a little bit later. So I'm more of a watercolor artist, and when you paint in watercolor, you usually do light to darkest, because once you get darker, you can't go back and take it away. But in acrylic, you usually paint dark to light because you can build up layers. It doesn't matter if you do too much black because you can paint over it. So it's a little tricky to remember to kind of paint backwards from what I usually know. So here I'm starting with the closer to the middle of the petal is going to be darker, and as it works its way out, it's going to get lighter and lighter. And so for this painting, I only used 3 colors besides white. I used magenta, phthalo blue, and yellow medium, I think. Yep. So I created a little tiny painting and I loved it. I decided to paint a bigger one, and then I made the same mistake I did in my purple bear, where I used the same paintbrush as I did with the little painting with the bigger painting, so it creates smaller brush strokes. It takes longer to do, and it doesn't get the overall same effect that I liked in the little painting. So on the larger painting I'm working on, it's like 20 inches high by like, I don't know, about maybe 14 inches wide. So I don't know if I'll film that one just because it's awkward to paint and film at the same time. Something that long just doesn't fit into frame. So for this picture, I followed the reference pretty closely in the middle of the flower, but the last 5 large petals on the outside, I kind of added in last moment, and I think that's where it kind of makes it look a little odd. I think if I painted over the large petals, I'd like the flower more, but then it'd just make the composition look kind of funny, so I just decided to leave it as is. So one thing I like is that I tried to do messy brush strokes. I love messy brush strokes. And one weird thing that I used to do is I had a rule for myself where I didn't allow myself to outline it at all. And we'll look at that later. Which is funny because I have a messy kind of like, I don't know, impressionist style. But I didn't want to use any outlines at all. I think all artists have like funny little rules for themselves like that. Like, I feel like there's probably a hyper realistic painter out there that feels like an imposter because they can't draw Bugs Bunny from memory on the spot. And for me, one of my rules was like, you can't be a real artist and use outlines at the same time. But I really didn't enjoy not using the outlines. And I had a lot more fun when I did, so once I allowed myself to break my own rule, I had a lot more fun. There's some things I tried to do that looked good in real life, but bad on camera, and things I did that like looked fine in real life and bad on camera. So I was trying to get in between here. Oh, and here I am like with a dark kind of purple brown outlining it. Sometimes I don't outline it. If I feel like I'm having a disconnect to it and I'm just, it's okay, but I don't like it, I'll outline it. And I find outlining something that I've just painted so much fun that even if I don't like it, I'm a little more fun towards it because I remember how much fun I had. I also like to, right here, I like to break up those outlines of the darkness by doing a second outline on top in a lighter color. Sometimes when I outline, it's very subtle, and sometimes it's very big, like this one, like the edges of the petals there. And so just by outlining it, I enjoy the piece a lot more than I would have otherwise. And this is a size 0 liner brush, which I use for everything. I love liner brushes. They're so much fun. You can get such great brush strokes and detail with them. I feel like the brush strokes they create really bring a lot of personality to the piece. Alright, so I decided I didn't really like the blue in combination with the pinks on this, so I decided to do a green background on this with really messy brush strokes and different colors of greens and yellows. Unfortunately though, my computer ate the clip of that, so there's not very much of it to show there. There's just a little peek of it. All right, thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. Please let me know if you have a favorite flower, and subscribe. Thank you.